Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making specialist. Today is March 23rd and that means it is day 8 of in place in our home shelter, and we're still here, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you that if you're watching this, that means something wonderful. It means you're still here too. So we're in it together, and a lot of other people out there, people that you know, that I know, that we don't know, are at home and they're in shelter, taking care of themselves and each other. And on the moment of gratitude, I am very grateful, and I always try to acknowledge that when I'm out and I'm getting something from the grocery store that I didn't have, and I can go and the shelf isn't empty and I can get it. And there's a person checking out. There's a person that put those things on the shelf. There's somebody that drove a truck to the store, somebody that loaded from a warehouse or a garden, somebody that grew it, somebody that packaged it, somebody that picked it. All of those people I am so grateful to. It's amazing the things we think about more deeply, are more present in our mind during this time of isolation. I was just talking to one of my clients and asked her how she and her family were doing, and she was busy homeschooling and trying to figure out all of that part of it. And she has 2 boys, and fortunately they're really good with technology. So this is, Mom, you just go sit down. I know how to do this and I can get this work done on my own. So she was very grateful for that. And I asked her what else they were doing as a family. And she said that what they're doing is they're looking through some scrapbooks and going through the years of all the things that they had grown and loved together, and when they were married and the 2 boys were born, and the boys got to hear a lot of the stories of how their mom and dad met, how they were born, where they were born. They knew that, they just had never really sat down as a family and talked about it and made it more personal and more intimate and more real. Those stories about where we came from and who we are actually help us feel rooted, that we have a place in the world and we know where it is and we know how we got there. Really important, especially these days. So I wanted to offer that that's what they did, and I'm curious what you and your family, you as a single person, what you're doing to help bring back the memories of things that were normal and where you came from and who you are, how you got here and how you got to be who you are. And after I went offline talking to my client, I started thinking, do I have any scrapbooks? And long story that I won't go into, I have only a few pictures of my family, and the picture that I have of my grandparents, except for the ones in my mind, which are so many, is a picture of them on their 57th wedding anniversary, and they're cutting a cake. That's a long time to be married, don't you think? It is to me. And then I started thinking about them more, about where I come from. And then I started remembering different stories. And one of the stories that I really liked, that I would always tease my grandmother about, and you know what? I wouldn't tease now, because I get something that she told me that I didn't totally understand then. And that was about winter and looking forward and having faith that spring was coming. And what would happen is they lived on a farm, and I would spend summers there and of course go and visit on the winters during vacations. And I remember that there was a horrible snowstorm, just snow everywhere. And my grandmother had this, she had a special tablet, and she was writing down in it. And I knew that tablet. I had seen it ever since I was very little. And that tablet is where she would write down every day, and I still have some of those tablets, every day what the weather was like and what she was doing. She didn't go in real deep about introspective stuff or her feelings or anything like that. It was always the weather, and then it was what she was doing. And after that snowstorm, when the weather cleared in a couple of days, my grandmother says, "Okay, Pumpkin, it's time." And I said, "Time for what?" She said, "I have my list." And I knew what she meant. Every year, when there was still oodles of snow on the ground, we would find our way into that teeny tiny little town, and we would go to the feed store. It was where you would get animal food. And off to the side was a counter, and that was the gardening center. Not huge, just a little shelf area that somebody would sit, and my grandmother took her list, and that person would write it down. The things on my grandmother's list were the bulbs that she wanted to plant this year, were the seeds for the garden that she wanted to plant for us to eat from, were the new 1 or 2 bushes that she had read about in a catalog and wanted to try. And those things were what my grandmother had on her list in the middle of the snowstorm. And every once in a while I would ask her, "How do you know spring's gonna come? How do you know that those plants are going to grow?" And she said, "I don't." And in order for me to sit through the snow and the cold and be okay, I have to know and believe and have faith there's going to be a spring, and those bulbs are going to sprout, and the seeds are going to grow our food, and the bushes are going to bring us flowers to pick and for you to take home. And I would say, "Oh, okay. You know what? I got it. This is our winter. And this is the time for us to have faith that there will be a spring, without a guarantee of how the spring will be, if what we want will grow, if the seeds we're planting sprout." It's to have faith in the potential, the possibility, and believe in the probability that all of that's going to happen. It doesn't mean that my grandmother forgot about the snow. She knew there would be snow again sometime. What she remembered is there would also be a spring. And that's what I'm going to offer today. That maybe you look through your family album, maybe you look through the album in your mind and remember the winters that you've survived and the springs that have come and the bulbs that have bloomed and the seeds that you've planted grew into amazing, amazing things. And have that faith. We have to believe in something. Why not believe that there will be a spring coming and we're going to be here? We will be there to celebrate the spring after this winter. And look for ways and seeds that you would like to plant. How would you like to be? Who would you like to be? How would you like to serve? What kind of a leader would you like to be? What kind of a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, a relative? What kind of a friend? And right now, in the midst of this winter, if you have just a moment, just an eyelash of a moment to take, what's going on, what you've learned, what you want to keep, that you will take into your spring and plant and grow so that you can keep writing the story the best way you can so that it's a story you want to live. It's a spring you're looking forward to. Doesn't mean we deny the snow, we don't deny the winter, we add an and. Spring will be coming, and now it's winter, and we can shift our focus back and forth so we don't get too cold, we don't get lost in a snowdrift. We can imagine the flowers blooming again. So have a great day, the very best you can. That doesn't mean you have to jump up and down and whistle, yoo-hoo, great day, great day. It just means a moment. Oh, that was pretty great. I watched my kids do their own homework online. Woohoo! I looked at my album and saw how we got here. I remembered something from my childhood and what I didn't know then that I know now. Thanks for coming. I will be back tomorrow. I really hope you will. Bring a friend, tell them. And let's be sure that we know that we're in this all together. I am here. I want to do my very best to serve you and join you wherever you are in your story. Take care. That's all for now. Come back. I'll be here and I will be watching for you. I really will. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.